This very this very hot weather and an accumulation of clouds that may convert into rain made me wonder about the economy and cycles and jobs and community, the 5%, top 5%, the top 1%, taxes, costs. When it comes to jobs, a recent report pointed out that almost 50 million jobs in the United States out of, I'm assuming, 250, 1 in 5, 1 in 4 jobs is disposable. It's a job that at any crisis, any sign of trouble, the person can be fired because there's no much training involved. There's no investment in the employee. The employee is just the workforce. Jobs like sales, waiters, many services. So the U.S. economy is running on having lots of people sort of underemployed, even if they are gaining well, being paid reasonably. There's also a very high risk in these jobs because they can be gone in anything. That doesn't sound right. Why don't we have more jobs that require more training, more skills, more capacitation, and then they become more stable and less disposable? How much do people really need to work? If the economy were a very well-oiled machine, without imperfections, with great efficiency, and without economic interest in any sector to outdo others, without the 1% trying to keep most of the money, imagine a really perfect system where all the jobs are really useful and necessary, and I would bet that every worker, every person not in the country could be employed in the United States, but then the average work week will be less than 20 hours. I would dare to say that the work week could be 15 hours. Maybe 2 days of work of 8, a little more than 8 hours, or 3 days of 5 hours each. That seems very doable, doesn't it? That sounds like a lot of fun. It could be even 10 hours a week. If the economy is super efficient and everybody has a job that adds value, and again, the economy is not relying on inefficiencies to create inequality. Inefficiencies can be exploited and generate wealth for a few. Don't get me wrong, this is beautiful to see people working hard and wanting to have a good job. In the United States, people do work very hard. They work hard even when they are not at work. They work hard at home. There are other cultures where having a job is so appreciated. I've seen in Mexico people who spend most of their salary in commuting, sometimes very long distances, but they'd rather have a job. Or they work for the government in jobs that pay very little, but again, rather be employed. be productive, be part of society. Jobs are beautiful. They give us a role in society. They make us part of a community. But that's different from being a cog in the wheel, from being a gear in the machine. Think of modern times with Charles Chaplin warning us about the dangers of raw capitalism. In my own life, I was born in the slums of South America, and I knew I wanted to do something else but a low-skilled job, and to me it was very clear: education, 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 and more education. If you are stuck in a low-paying job or an unskillful job, learn something, study something, whatever it is. You can go for the hot trends, or you can go for basics, learn mathematics, or learn computer science, learn to program, acquire a skill, learn to type fast. Education opens doors, and it has been a big social equalizer, and it has been denigrated a lot again in the raw capitalism, raw economy. In part because there's a fear of expertise. Conservatives have railed against expertise because expertise comes from universities, from faculties, and professors tend to be liberal. They rely on science for things like the point of view of humanity as an evolving animal as opposed to a creation of God. They rely on knowledge and science for determining economic models and social issues. And then they tend to be liberal. And as a reaction, conservatives have railed against expertise. William Buckley stated that he would rather have people picked randomly from the phone book than Harvard's faculty to run the government. And he was a patrician, high society, well-to-do man, and but he had this knack for confrontation, who made them a very fascinating person. But then he created these ideas that have taken a life of their own, and now we have a pandemic in the United States, and there are people who don't know much, but they believe they know a lot. There's a phenomenon named after, again, professors, I think in Cornell, who look at people with different levels of expertise, and they found that people with less knowledge tended to judge themselves as being much better than they were. And people with more skills and knowledge, they were more even-handed at seeing themselves for what they really knew. So we had this situation where people who know the more, they're very realistic about the limitations of their knowledge and their own knowledge. And then people who don't know that much, they believe that they know a lot more than they do. So we end up with government staffed by people who are super confident, but they don't know that much. That's the trick of Americans. The super confidence above knowledge. some late night comedy shows have taken upon themselves to go out and ask people basic questions. And Americans are fascinated because of two aspects. Number one, how little the average person knows. Even on university campuses, students cannot say who Napoleon was, and the average person cannot find China on a globe map, or even find the United States on a war map. But then everybody has an answer. Everybody says something about Napoleon, even the most outrageous things. And that's beautiful at some level, because that's being American. But then, God, you can be so wrong, so proud of yourself, but so way off. So learn, study, acquire skills, even if the pressure is to become a YouTube star, and don't go for the million hits. It's gonna be hard to do it, and then with the same effort, you could acquire serious skills that will pay off a lot in the long run. That's the thing. A bachelor's degree from a university is 4 years, in some cases, of hard study, but then it's a lifetime of higher earnings. Why not go for the extra work early on?